What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. I'm a little bit under the weather tonight, but I did say I wanted to make a follow-up video on NIO's earnings report. What a massive run NIO had today after their earnings call, okay? So right here in pre-market, I want to focus on this. I was getting comments, hey, NIO is trading up to like 278, 280, 290. I actually had to turn my notifications off so I could concentrate on what was going on in the stock market. And right here, as soon as the market opened, it burst up over $3 a share. Now it's interesting because several of my students in my course were kind of asking me, what should we do here? And of course, I kind of objected out my best level of wisdom to them, none of which really came out to sell. I said sell when you're comfortable, but I never said, hey, sell here at $3, sell here at $3.25. I said sell when you feel like you have a strong enough gain. And it pretty much took a straight shot from $3.20, ran all the way up here to $4.73. I know the high of the day was like $4.82, and then it just leveled off by the end of the day. Got down in the $3.70 range. That was 30 minutes after close and after market. Then it actually traded itself back up to almost $4. So it grew another 7.26% in after hours. So one thing I want to point out, the earnings were a lot better than expectations, okay? What I really want to illustrate in this video, if I can make any kind of point or get anything across, is that you can kind of see these things happening sometimes before they do. Not always, okay? Not every time you buy what you feel is an undervalued stock, it's going to race up, you know, over 60 or 70% in one day. That's not, but you do have to look for the stocks that have sold off massively but still have value. I cannot recall how many times I told people through comments or whatever that when NIO was at $2, it could basically double and still be considered a lousy company fundamentally. And I really still stand by that, okay? So while I do feel the future is bright, very, very impressed with this last earnings report, do not forget that NIO does have a lot of problems. Let's take a look at the earnings report and let's try to answer the question, is NIO stock headed to $5 next? Before we get started, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video. I appreciate all the support, and make sure to subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Let's take a quick look at the results of the earnings report. So the Q3 non-GAAP EPS of minus 33 cents. Let's stop right there. Again, on the top line, they're still negative. They were projected to be negative, but they were 2 cents higher than their GAAP EPS estimate of 35 cents. They beat by 2 cents on the top line. Again, like I mentioned in the last video, all we really wanted to see was some steps in the right direction. This definitely was one of them. The revenue of $257 million, that beat by $23.12 million. I was very confident NIO was going to beat on revenue just simply based off of their delivery numbers growing at a good pace. The shares were up around 15% in pre-market. Now let's go to a little bit more detailed breakdown of what all came to happen with the earnings report. All right, so their total revenue is $257 million. That's up 25%. Fantastic. Vehicle sales up $242.5 million. That was up 21.5%. Very nice move there. Now the gross margin, 6.8%. That's down 58%. This is one of those problems I'm talking about. That gross margin, I would really like to see it at a negative 25 or 30% on the next quarterly earnings report. So they really got to clean that up. I have a feeling analysts are going to beat them up on that. Vehicle deliveries, 4,799. That's up 35%. Another very good metric to look at. They're definitely doing their job and selling vehicles. The net loss, $357.3 million. That's down 73%. So still very inefficient, and we have to strive for improvement. If NIO could ever get into the positives, there is no telling what this stock could do, but I think we're a long ways from there. We're probably a couple of years from that. Let's talk about this next thing. The quick assets at quarter end is $274.3 million. Several financing options are in process. That statement right there, the several financing options are in process. I can just go ahead and tell you, analysts are going to beat them up over that because they don't have a comprehensive plan put together on how they plan to correct some of their financial problems, right? And that's really what your big analysts are going to be looking for. So I would say over the next couple of weeks and months, do not be surprised if analysts come out and downgrade NIO because they don't have their act together with this financial plan. They mention a lot of different options, but they haven't carved anything in stone, and analysts are going to look at that as a big time weakness. Now the quarter 4 outlook, this is really what made the stock fly today. This is their Q4 guidance, and it's spectacular. The total revenue is projected for $393.2 million. That's going to go up to 53%. Vehicle deliveries are projected to be over 8,000. So that's going to be up 66.7%. So those are some pretty big hurdles to jump over. Let's hope NIO takes care of business. So let me try to help you answer this question. Is NIO headed to $5 a share? Well, a couple things are going to have to be taken into consideration. A lot of short sellers got burnt. A lot of people had to move out of puts today. That's another big catalyst that made the stock run at one point. Check it out, guys, 98 and some odd percent in one day. So I just want to make this very clear to you. The natural growth of a company, it's very rarely going to double in one day. So I do expect some sell-off to follow this huge massive run. But like I said, if you go back a couple of weeks when it was at $1, now you're up close to 300% since that time. Here's my answer. Yes, I do believe NIO will see $5 a share pretty soon. Let's strike on this. Let's talk about what we just mentioned a minute ago with that guidance number that they're supposed to be delivering up to 8,000 vehicles by the time quarter 4 gets here. Okay, that's a huge move up, so we're gonna have to keep an eye on those delivery numbers month to month. Okay, if we see some really bullish delivery numbers coming out for NIO, I think you will naturally see the stock start to trade itself towards the $5, maybe $6 range over time. But they're going to have to stay consistent. Right now, they really got the short sellers had to cover today. They had to run away from this thing because, like I said, if you're short on a stock and it runs 100% in the positive direction, you are toast. Depending on how much money you have short, and again, how big of a put option position you have, your options could just be $0. You can't even sell them, and they're just sitting there and they can't do anything. So my answer to that question, yes, I believe in due time, in due diligence, NIO could see itself back up to $5 a share. But like I said, that guidance has been projected. Now we have to stay in the month-to-month kind of category. We have to watch it closely month to month. Make sure those deliveries are coming through like they're supposed to, and that the next earnings report is starting to look very bullish. If you kind of want to talk on that account, I think NIO could trade itself well beyond the $5 mark. Again, even looking at the 1-year chart, you know, this was not very long ago that this was a $10 per share stock. That was right there in March of 2019. So it's still heavily undervalued here at $3 as long as those numbers hold up. You know, and like I mentioned in my video, we're going to talk just a moment about some bad news that came Tesla's way today, or what's perceived as bad news. So I find it funny that while good news and a good earnings report comes out for NIO, negative news comes out for Tesla. I really don't believe that. I don't think that's necessarily how it can go. I believe Tesla and NIO can both grow and both have a strong market share. Just because one company is doing better than the other, you have to look at this number right here, guys, market cap. Okay, NIO is much smaller than Tesla. They're not expected to put out as many vehicles. They're not expected to sell as many vehicles. So Tesla is definitely the alpha, but there is no reason why NIO can't also succeed. If you want to go off that, you're going to sit here and tell me there's only one tech company out there that can make it, right? So just Apple, but Google and Amazon and Facebook, they can't succeed as well. It's nonsense. You know, there's a lot of competing companies that are thriving together. Alright, and so before I log off, guys, like I said, at the end of this video, make sure to go down to the comments, share your thoughts and opinions with me. Like always, I really like hearing from each and every one of you. Sorry, I was a little bit on the distracted side today. I had a lot going on. Now, listen, I own NIO and I own Tesla, okay? So I'm kind of getting the best of both worlds right now. And if someone put a gun to my head and made me choose, I would go with Tesla simply because it's the better fundamental company. But Tesla was not too far removed from being a horrible fundamental company. So buying it on those low ends was really taking some big time risk. I was inheriting risk by doing that. Now this article was published today. Also, it says Tesla is lower as Cohen redirects attention to deliveries growth. Okay. Now Cohen, they just love beating up on Tesla. That's what they do. They were were beating up Tesla before this $200 and some odd run just a couple of months ago. Cohen expects Tesla to deliver 101,000 vehicles in Q4 and 365,000 vehicles for the full year, to miss the company target of 360K to 400,000. Now, I'm not really sure where they're getting that from. Are they just kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping it sticks? I'm not really sure where, exactly Cohen is getting this, 356,000 vehicle number from, but it might stick, because sometimes, like I said, these negative type analysts will find, good points, and they'll kind of direct you out, of some difficult situations sometimes. That could come true. That doesn't necessarily mean it is going to come true. I can't think of one person that has called Tesla completely accurate. One of the biggest Tesla bulls I know was telling folks to sell at $350 a few weeks ago, and now it's up over $430. So the only way you're going to win this battle with these companies is to go long and stay long, okay? And here, as a result of that article being published, Tesla did trade down to $409, ticked itself back up to about $412, then was at $414 by the time the market was closed. Like I said, I would not pay too much attention to this. This could be a start of a downtrend in Tesla. It does seem a little overbought, but nothing that I would seriously worry about if you're a Tesla shareholder. So anyways, guys, that's all I got for the video. Thanks for watching. Make sure to drop some comments, and we'll see you next time.